I've had some comments on how lovely my cigar box guitar sounds and have I made it. This is the guitar I normally play in my videos, and no, I didn't make it, I bought it. I'd never heard of cigar box guitars, but I went into my local music shop, saw this square box guitar and wondered what it was, and thought I'd have a go, and I fell in love with the sound of it. When I did some research about cigar box guitars, I found you could actually make them, so I thought I'd have a go. I started with something called a diddley bow, which is a one-string instrument. I bought this cigar box off eBay. I live in the UK. It's not always so easy to get cigar boxes in this country. There are some importers, but locally that was the only one I could find. It had a paper base, so I swapped it for some wood, but unfortunately I used quite thick plywood and it's not very resonant. It's got one string. String goes through the broom handle, which was literally cut off an old broom. Comes up through over the nut, which is just a bolt, a couple of sound holes in there. I just used a screw to hold the string in place and then a guitar machine head just to be able to tune it. I tune it pretty low, this one. It's just a bit of fun to play. It hasn't got a... Oh, it has got a piezo in it, actually. I'd forgotten that. It has got a piezo in it. And there you are. There's the insides of it. Also made a diddley bow for my dad, and I did some pyrography on it. He's really into John Denver, so I did that for him. Again, this is not a broom handle. This is a curtain pole. I've put the string again over a bolt. I've used one of these metal clips to just hold it off of the fretboard a bit. I didn't bother to put a machine head on it this time. I just literally have wrapped it around a screw. But what I did do was actually mark the positions for him. So I've got the open position 4, 5 and 12. Then I made this tin box guitar, which is just a biscuit tin. Again, I've put a piezo underneath the bridge. The bridge is just a screw, which I had to cut the end off of, and the same up here for the nut. This time I have done the 3 strings. It all looks a bit of a mess. I found this really difficult getting them right, and look how wonky the machine heads are. I've not done a lot of woodworking at all, so this was really an experiment. I've got 3 screws to hold the strings in place because they just kept jumping with just the screw across here. These had to be in here to hold it right, and also I haven't managed to wrap them round properly, as you can see. But anyway, that's my tin box guitar. I found cutting the metal quite different from working with wood. Cutting the holes here was quite tricky, and I've put some mesh underneath. I've got grandchildren, and the metal bits were quite sharp. I don't want them putting their fingers in there, but of course they have managed to push the mesh through. I had to re-glue it on again. I was really keen to make an actual guitar now with frets, because everything so far had been fretless, and I'd just like drawn the frets on for this one. For some reason I thought, let's go for 4-string and let's go for a shaped body. My goodness, this was so difficult. I used plywood for the shaped body, and what I did was I cut out the shape of the guitar. I copied it off of one of my ukuleles, actually, and then I cut a top and a bottom, and then I cut 3 other layers, which I then cut the middle out of and stack them all on top of each other like a sandwich. Of course, it's not resonant. It's really not a good sound. It's very, very heavy as well. So there's a very heavy neck. It's way too wide, and it's not, I mean, it's quite rounded. I was really pleased to get the frets in, but actually when you hear me play it, you'll see that the intonation on this is terrible. But it is a first go, and we all have to start somewhere. I used a fret wire and a piece of wood for the bridge. I used a cut-off nut up here for the actual nut, but I had to have a piece of wood in here or something to keep these strings apart. As you can see, it's very, very flat-necked. I haven't got any back angle on it. The reason it's the intonation is it's pretty high action. It actually doesn't sound too bad with a slide, although, as you know, my slide playing is not very good. But playing it as a fretted instrument is really, really disappointing. I did think that I got the machine heads on slightly better this time. I then thought I'd have a go at actually making my own wooden box. So I sourced some ash and some sapele or sapele, I'm not sure how you make this, for the base. Made my own box. I'm really proud of this box. This took me hours, days to make this box. I used metal box corners. I put a piezo in this one. I made the bridge, and I bought a guitar bridge from Amazon, and I used that to make the bridge and the nut. I cut them down. I used little files to make the holes in there. I'm really most proud of the neck and fretboard on this one. This is a Sapel fretboard, and I've shaped this neck from a piece of solid ash, and again this took me weeks and weeks to shape, and actually, you know, it doesn't look too bad at all. I managed to get the machine heads on a bit straighter, but for some reason I thought that I would, well, I didn't have a very long piece of wood, to be honest. This ash was not long enough to go all the way through the body of the box. So I've just got a kind of cut off neck, and this is actually screwed into the box rather than a through neck all the way back through here. So first of all, I had a lot of problems making that bridge stay on because the strings kept pulling the bridge off, because when you've got the bridge held in place by the strings coming all the way back here, it makes it much easier. But anyway, because of this, I had to put nylon strings on it rather than metal strings. At some point, I might remake this with metal strings and just see if I can put a piece of wood on the end of this to stretch the strings across. It's actually fairly resonant. I'm pretty pleased with it. Just kind of wish I'd put metal strings on it. I've put a piezo underneath the bridge, so I can use just ordinary, I don't need to use nickel strings. I can use normal phosphor bronze strings, and that'll be picked up by the piezo. So at some point I might do another video and see what that sounds like. And now you can hear what they sound like. And oh my goodness, there's a big range in sound, and you'll see why. I played the one that I bought. Bye for now.